Dear leaders, I'm here to make sure that your feedback engages your team members with a pull instead of a push. Are you tired of reviewing what didn't go well when instead you could be proactive and highlight what is going right along the way? Hi, I'm Dr. Angela Buckley, and today we are going to practice the spirit of acknowledgement, a framework that builds on trust and provides Q1 feedback instead of Q4 feedback. Here's the spirit of acknowledgement. In this framework, we're going to be talking about what I wish I would have had when I was a young engineer. Let me share a story. I was walking out the door one day, said thanks to my team. I've always been a person who was thankful and had a grateful spirit, but clearly I was not expressing that well to my team. Why? Because as I walked out and said thanks for a great day, my teammate said, "For what? It was not a great day." And while I appreciate his clarity and transparency and the fact that we had a relationship such that he felt comfortable in calling me on it, it made me realize that I was not doing a great job explaining what they were doing that was getting such great accolades from our leadership. I had just come from a team meeting with the CEO and the plant manager, and they were just telling us how great my team was. They were telling me that we were saving money. They were telling me that we were driving engagement, and we were seeing numbers of productivity that was increasing, sometimes in places by 10%, and safety numbers that were increasing by 30 and 40%. Improvements in our safety numbers. That means people not getting hurt. And so when I said, thanks for a great day, I meant all of those things, but I didn't say that. And my employee was out there fighting the good fight. All of the troubles and all of those obstacles that they have to overcome in order to make a better workplace for the rest of the facility, that's what they were doing. And those are frustrating, hard, difficult tasks to overcome. And that's what I meant when I said thanks, but I was not clear. So I did what I do best. I took to the research books. I learned, I asked for his feedback. I asked for feedback from people on the team, and I put together the spirit of acknowledgement. I wish I had had this framework when I was a much younger engineer. I feel like I could have done a better job by my teammates. What is the spirit of acknowledgement? It's a framework that's going to help us give powerful feedback that ties truly to what they were doing, right? When I said thanks, I wasn't being very specific. I just said thank you. And so that's what the first S stands for in specific, spirit, right? Describe the behavior that they're doing. Hey, I see that every day when you go out, there's some struggle to get some buy-in, and yet you don't back down. You keep working with the team to help them see where they continuously improve. It's a challenge, and I know that you step up to that every single day when you go outside and work with the team. The next step that we talk about in this spirit of acknowledgement is personal. I know that you're kind of a conflict avoidant types person because you really do want to be smooth sailing. That is what we all want. And yet you take it upon yourself to work with people who are afraid of change, who don't want to understand that. And it's not maybe natural to your personality, but because you see the value in our work, you take that on. So, in this regard, when we're talking about this call out, we're also recognizing the challenges that the employee is going through as they're going through the work that needs to be done to create a better workplace. So, not just tying it to specifically what they've done, but also tying it specifically to how that is a challenge for them in their personal values. Impactful. When we talk about organizational gratitude, we really want to be able to tie that information to what is happening in the business. So many people cannot understand how the work that they're doing in the day-to-day ties into the work that is so important for the business to be profitable. And let's be honest, organizations exist to have an impact in the world and to create money for employees, owners, shareholders. This is real. And we need to understand that our activities that we're working on, that we're going through day to day, the struggles, actually have an impact on that. And it's our job as the leader to tie that story together. And that's one reason why the spirit of acknowledgement is such an impactful framework. Because when we are sharing what that specific action was, what the challenges and the personal values are for that person to that organizational impact, they can get up and say, I am motivated to keep going today. And now we're talking about spirit again. S, P, and I will move on to R, and we talk about relevant. What is relevant? Relevant is talking about the organizational values, not the KPIs, not the measurements, but how you're seen in the world, right? We talk about ESG, this environment, social good, and every organization does have some statements that are relevant to their corporate values. I work in manufacturing, so you will see all over the place safety first. So much of the work that my teams have done in the past have had significant safety improvement impact that is relevant not only to the KPI, like the measurements, hey, someone didn't get hurt, and hey, we saved some money because people didn't get hurt, but the relevant caring about the people. This is where you start talking about the culture shift, the culture change, and where things start really grabbing in and sitting on the hearts of the employees. So when we make a call out like this, for example, the day that I should have said to my employee, thank you for going out day after day and fighting the good fight for continuous improvement and having such a positive impact on our safety metrics. I know that that is difficult because they don't always want to see us walking in, because we are expecting them to make a few changes, and change is hard. And so you are putting your energy into helping people feel comfortable with that change. And sometimes there's a conflict of what involved there, and it's hard. And I see the energy and the commitment that you bring into that. It's having positive impact on our financial bottom line, and it's having positive impact on our safety numbers. This is relevant because you can see the safety culture changing, and we are really living our safety first culture. That's our relevance. Now we move from SPIR to the second I, which is inclusiveness. And when I talk about inclusiveness, I mean let everybody know that this person's done a great job in the work that they're delivering. Let that be seen in a way that they can role model that and say, hey, if that's what's being praised, this good activity, I also would like to have good activity being praised. So often when we give feedback, it's what not to do. What didn't you do right? Instead of what is going well, let's praise what's going well. And let's bring people along so that they can understand why that activity is there and they can extend. So you are doing two things when you make a positive shout out like that. It's absolutely positive for the person that you're recognizing, but it's also telling a story for the rest of the team members what to look for, what is being praised, and not just praised because I like you, but praised because it's having a positive impact on the organization. So that's what we're talking about with inclusiveness. I will add one caveat here. Not everybody appreciates being called out and having that shout out in front of people. Some people are quieter, they're a little more introverted. So pick and choose how you recognize people and who you recognize in what kind of forum. If it's a 5-person team, that introvert may not mind it. But if it's in front of the big company organization, they probably may not appreciate being called up on stage or having their picture shown in a PowerPoint or something. So be aware that you're trying to encourage, and encourage in a way that's going to bring them along with you. And then the final letter in spirit is T for timely. And What does that matter? Timing is everything. We know that emotions have a wave, and we want to really capture in that if we can. So, the opportunity for us as leaders is to be prepared to have these stories and these thank yous ready so that when things are going well, we can deliver that in a timely manner that catches back, right? There's still an emotion associated with success. And the more that we highlight it while we're in this high wave, the more it's going to have an impact on that person. It's going to have an emotional impact. It's going to have a literally brain changing, life changing impact because you have called out specifically what they've done. You have tied it to that personal character and their personal values. You've shown what that impact is to the organization, what the relevance is to the organization's values, and you've made it public. So now getting that as close to the event as possible will literally change the way that person views themselves, and it will make them want to do more to get that type of accolades again in the future, right? So we've talked about the spirit of acknowledgement. Let me tell you what happens when you use this type of acknowledgement. I moved to a new company. I've been using this now for years, and I've been teaching it for 5 or 6 years in workshops, etc. New company, new employee, did a great job. I gave him a spirit style shout out, made it public. He called me. He called me and said, Angela, I have been working here for 40 years and no one has said that to me. I've been doing the same job day in, day out. They all like what I do, but no one has taken the time to understand what I go through and how it ties to the company values and the company impacts until you. I feel seen. He was almost in tears. After the phone call, he came up to my office to thank me again. This is how powerful your shout outs and your recognition can be. It builds trust. It builds community. It reflects on your personal character because you've taken the time to tie into that person and to tie into what they're doing well. Isn't that what we really want? We don't need to have Sunday scaries. We want to have people who want to show up calm and excited and prepared to work each morning. We can do that when we are engaging with our employees with things that are going well. My girlfriend has a book. It's called Every Time I Diet, I Gain 5 Pounds. And do you know why? Because when you deny yourself what you don't want, what you're really wanting, you're in trouble because your body is fighting yourself. Instead, we want to spend time looking for what the positive is. And by default, when we look for these positive impacts, we will seek that out more and more because it builds us up. It builds the people up around us, and everyone wants to work for you as that leader. Because why? They have clarity on what their job is. They have clarity on what is going to be a success. It's not the fog of what doesn't work. It's the clarity of what does work. And you're providing that for them by using the Spirit of Acknowledgement framework. Listen, I just want to share this with you because it is only one of the tools that we use in Likeable Leadership. Likeable Leadership is a trust-built leadership model. It has been academically verified, and it has been pragmatically demonstrated throughout my 25 years of manufacturing experience with some of the largest manufacturing companies in the world. I would like to come and take a look at what this leadership model looks like, and I invite you to participate in some of our workshops. Today, since you are here, I would love for you to take a look at my free Spirit of Acknowledgement email course. 7 days. We'll walk you through the steps. It's basically the same type of thing that you would see if you were in a one-on-one workshop with me as we go through and practice. Is it as in-depth as if you were to get me one-on-one? No, but you can certainly practice and see what some of those steps are. So if you go over to my website today, creativelyefficient.com, I'll put up a QR code here in a few minutes. You will see that you can sign up for that for free. And if you email me and make a phone call, I will schedule you to have a free coupon to download the workbook that accompanies it. Thank you so much for your time. I would like to open this up now to questions about the spirit of acknowledgement. Would you like to know some of the research that goes behind it? Would you like a few more stories associated with people who have really experienced what it looks like and what it feels like? The floor is yours.